Good morning, gardening friends. It is now Sunday at about 9:45 in the morning. Not the best time for lighting, but I wanted to shoot something before I take off on vacation. This is part of the reason why I've been so busy the last couple of weeks, is I've just been trying to clear everything off my plate. And so actually I may well release some stuff while I'm on vacation to the channel, and this may become part of, I just released episode 31, so this will be part of episode 33. I did manage to get a couple of things done yesterday. I just wanted to show you that, just so we're up to date, and then we'll see what the garden looks like when I get back from vacation. I'm asking one of the neighbors to help me water my own garden. Let's take a look. I also wanted to point out something that I've noticed in the pepper plants. It looks like actually what's happening is some of these leaves are just kind of dying on their own. You can see I got this one right here that's barely attached, and so maybe what it is these leaves just over time they just kind of wilt away and die off, and that's why they're falling. So it may not be so much that I'm being attacked by bugs, but it's just a natural part of the growth of these pepper plants. Although the holes in the leaves, I suspect, are actually bugs eating away at them. But I'm not seeing any bugs on here. I'll do a final inspection before I leave, and we'll see what all is going on with that. Good afternoon, gardening friends. It's now Tuesday, 2:30. It's about a week later. I didn't do an episode this past weekend, although I'm looking at probably filing one today or tomorrow. So this will be the update. I've been on vacation and had a good time up in Lake Tahoe in California. For those of you who don't know the United States or don't know California, Nevada area, Lake Tahoe is that lake that sits there right at the funny corner in this state of California. California has kind of 5 corners if you look at a map, and that 5th corner runs right through the lake. Anyway, let's take a look around the garden. I did have a neighbor take care of watering for me. There were some things that she couldn't quite get to, but I do very much appreciate her keeping the plants alive. So let's take a look around. First of all, we have the Somerset tomato, and to my surprise, there's at least 2 new tomatoes on the plant that showed up while I was gone. One is maybe the size of a pea, and the other one is about half the size of a Roma tomato, maybe. Still plenty of flowers on it, still alive. I cut off a lot of dead branches. I think it was just really hot while I was gone, so it's the same battle whether I'm here or not. If I pan over a little bit, you probably won't be able to see it too well, but the squash plants that I had there are pretty much dead. And I think that's because it was really hard to get water to it without crawling through the bushes, which is what I end up doing. So that one may be gone. There's some other planters that are gone, and I'll tell you in a little bit what I'm thinking for those. Down below that I've got the strawberry plants in the front of the large planter, and it looks like maybe one in each of the 2 sections has survived. Again, watering is an issue if you don't get to my patio, so we'll have to see what we do with those. The pepper plants, although I know you can't really tell the difference between this and the tomato I just showed you, but pepper plants are looking healthy. I only see the one pepper, which I never picked off the other plant, and the skin is getting thicker and thicker, and it's turning yellow now. So it may be time for me to finally pick it and enjoy it. I just didn't want to pick it too early before I left. The pink brandywine hasn't gotten a whole lot bigger, but it still looks healthy, so that has me happy there. Another strawberry that's still alive, and maybe you can see in the background some of the white petunias have bounced back. So I asked the neighbor what she did differently. And it looks like she was watering more in the evening instead of the morning or midday, so there may be something to that. I'll have to look into whether watering in the evening is actually better where I am. The basil is starting to go to seed, which says to me I need to pinch off the tops of those and probably harvest some basil tomorrow morning, because it's better to actually harvest the leaves in the morning when the oils are still in the leaves. So I got something to do tomorrow morning. And now perhaps the cluster of oranges on the hard rock tomato are looking that much better and turning that much more red. And I think I need to actually pick some to put some of the energy back into growing other parts of the plant. But I think the plan here is the one that's got the blossom end rot, which is nice and red now. And there's another one which I'll pick and enjoy eating. But I think I'm going to try and save whatever seeds are in there, so I've actually got some seeds for next year, because I really want to give it another shot. The corner planter has a fair amount of deadness in it, and I think, now I'll just tell you what I'm thinking. I want to do ground cover this year. When these plants are gone by, dead, what I want to do is plant two different plants. On the outer ring here on the patio, what I'm going to do is plant broom corn. It'll make a nice tall sort of cover, give me a little shade towards the end of the summer maybe, and it fixes the nitrogen in the soil. And so next January, when I start picking everything, I'll actually chop off those plants and leave the nodules under the soil. That'll give more nitrogen and more consistent nitrogen available for other plants, whatever I decide to plant there. So that's going to be the outer ring. The inner ring, I think what I'm going to plant is lima bean or soybean. I'll have an edible cover crop. It apparently is good as a cover crop. So that's the plan as far as when plants die out here. Instead of trying to plant new ones and then struggling through the winter, I'm just going to plant something else that would help to improve the soil, and in part of it would be edible. The patio tomato is looking rather sickly. I've got the one down here that I left to ripen, but now it's shriveling up. So I don't think that's going to be worth eating, but maybe I'll be able to harvest some seeds out of that for next year. There's a couple that are shriveled up on there which don't look so good, and some dead leaves which I need to cut off. The yellow pear tomato is now more tape than actual plant. There's a couple of them on there that are getting close to yellow, but at this point I think I'm going to pick them off, put them in a kitchen, and see if they'll just ripen there. That way I can pull that plant and I'll plant something else among the cover crops I just mentioned. And this takes us off the patio to the south courtyard and the wildflower planter, which is looking more and more wild. I think I may have to trim back some of the more weed-like stuff. And meanwhile, there's that other plant in the back, which is just it was getting taller and taller. Now it's actually gotten so long that it's falling over under its own weight. So I'm looking at staking it and seeing what happens with that. The trumpet vine has a lot of flowers on it, which has got me happy, and it's looking really healthy. I don't see the leaves all shriveled up, so it's received water, so I'm a happy camper there. And if we look at the two 20-gallon planters, those are looking healthy. The one on the right's not got as much vegetation in it, but it's actually looking okay. The one on the left is going crazy, and the coleus in there is getting nice and big. And there's not a whole lot to do for deadheading on the petunias, so I think actually the neighbor that helped me with watering also did a little bit of deadheading for me. Thank you. Now we've got the other planters I've got on the ground and the ones hanging on the wall. You can see the rectangular planter is going crazy. The one on the right is doing better. I'm really starting to think maybe watering in the evening is better for some reason, despite the wisdom as I understood it is water in the morning, because then if there's too much water, the excess water will be evaporated off by the sun, so you don't have to worry about diseases on your plants. But I guess maybe the difference here is if you water in the evening, as long as you're not too late, then the sun will burn off some of it if there's too much, but ultimately they'll have a better chance of absorbing the water so they can grow. And finally, at least for this week's episode, I wanted to come to rest on the pergola project area. You can see the coleus in the back is just going crazy, getting nice and tall. The one in the front, I had the larger, more green, light green leaves. They don't have so much variegated color. Those are doing nicely. And the one that I tried to reroot, it looks like actually the upper leaves are doing okay now. So apparently it is possible, at least in this case, to reroot a coleus plant. So overall, things are healthy. I've got a little bit of cleaning up to do, a few little things to do in terms of planting some of the new ground cover crop. and we'll see what happens with that. But I'm going to wrap up this episode so I can try and get it released. This is the Budget Gardener signing off, saying may your thumb be green.